We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to another episode of Traveling Through the Realms. Welcome to the realm of Chamon, the realm of metal. That is what we're going to talk about today. Don't forget that right after this video, there's going to be a battle report filmed in the realm of metal using the realm of metal rules from the core rule book and Lion Sorceries. So go and check that out at the link below after we're done here. The realm of metal is the fourth in our series, and the reason that we're going through in this order is because it is the order they are in the core rulebook. It's also because it's the order by which we have the most information. And as we continue in the series, we have less and less information. The realm of metal is still pretty good. We still have a sizable number of pages in the core rulebook. We have several of the novels have addressed little things about the realm of metal. And so we have enough information to go on and have an idea of what life is like there. Because that's what I'm trying to focus on in this. It's not so much everything that's happened there and all the history of the Spiral Crux, which is one of the sub-realms, not continents, I want to differentiate that, of the realm of metal, but really trying to give you an idea of what it feels like to be there, because I think that is one of the things that we need the most. Well, the realm of metal, it starts to diverge from your typical ones that we're looking at with the others, whereas the other realms, such as the realm of death and the realm of life and the realm of fire, have mostly been described as a disk or a flat earth. Now, in the case of the realm of fire, it's broken up into continents that you can't reach without going through realm gates because of the taints of chaos. But for the most part, they're still, the land masses are focused around that central plane of the realm sphere. The realm of metal is very different from that. In fact, they don't even talk about it being a bunch of continents floating around. They actually describe them as sub-realms. That is how much they are so different within that realm sphere. So remember, every mortal realm is in the shape of a sphere, but not as in a globe that you are on top of, but more of the sphere that you are inside of. And the closer you get to any of the edges of those spheres, the more wild and unpredictable the magic becomes, because it's more unstable and more raw and elemental. And the closer to the center, and we're looking at the center of a sphere now, not just the center of a disk, the more stable the realm magic becomes, and the more Earth-like, I would say, the more realistic it becomes, the less magic there is, until you get to the very center where there's hardly any magic. Well, the realm of metal still follows those guidelines, but instead of it floating in a disk, we have sub-realms floating all over the realm of metal. Now, we don't have an image of exactly what this looks like and how it's mapped out, and there's probably two good reasons for that. One, I'm sure Games Workshop hasn't fully mapped out all of the realm of metal. Remember, these realms are huge. They're not just the size of the Earth. I think that you can almost picture them the size of solar systems, each of them, but they haven't really defined their size. But the second is that the realm of metal is all about change. It's all about transmutations. Now, if you are familiar with the lore of Warhammer, then as soon as I say change, you are going to realize that Tzeentch is obviously going to be playing a big part here. But before Tzeentch was ever around, the chaos god of change and manipulation and lies, this realm was basically ruled by Grungi, or Grungi, however you say the dwarven god's name. And he came in here, and the realm of metal was an elemental place for him to forge. And he worked really hard, and he forged various realms. And he would basically give these realms to his followers. And there's a ton of different kinds of realms that they describe in the core rulebook. And he basically gifted these. And once he felt that they were self-sufficient, he then returned to the realm of heaven, realm of Azir, because he had a debt to repay Sigmar, and so he went there and helped him build his giant space station in the sky for where he could build all his Stormcast Eternals. And so while he was gone, though, then the people started to get established. Now, the realm of metal, as you can probably imagine, is very full of different kinds of metal. And that's part of how you can kind of define it. If you were to look at it and just try to get the small changes or the very obvious changes, it would be that if you are in the realm of fire, the water would probably be really hot all the time and would maybe have a hint of sulfur to it. In the realm of life, the water would be very refreshing and would actually have medicinal properties. Well, in the realm of metal, There's water, and it is potable, but it would have a lot of metallic elements, so like you're drinking out of a metal container all the time, and so on and so forth. The soil has more trace elements of metal, even towards the center of the realm sphere. But it kind of gets crazier as you go out. Thankfully, in the center, you can still establish life. There's still plenty of water to drink. You can plant plants. That there's still actual trees, even though a lot of those trees will have like a hints of iron going through their bark. In fact, it's even described in some of the novels as they'll harvest that bark and they'll make special armor out of it, because it's actually harder than bark from other trees and other realms, which is really neat. But as you go out, you're going to start to see stranger things. For example, the transmutations could all of a sudden turn a mountain from its typical stone and mineral deposits to pure gold. There could be an entire mountain that's just gold. Or there could be plains of brass. Or you could have, there's a lot of ether gold in the skies. As Grungy was doing all of his creations, a lot of his godlike breath mingled with the air, and a lot of it formed into ether gold, which is mined heavily by the Kharadron overlords. In fact, there is so much. There are entire civilizations that live in skyports. These are massive cities and even regions where there are linked cities that are all in the air. They're floating in their own little bubble of sub-realm, if you want to look at it that way, far above any of the other lands. That's always dangerous if you go too far, because just like going to the outside of one of the discs in the other realms, if you go too high, well, that's when you start to encounter weird magic and weird beasts. In fact, if you go too far towards the realm's edge, you could easily all of a sudden just turn to a chunk of lead or be transmuted to something else altogether. So the lands are constantly changing. They are rich with so much that at least through the age of myth, the various civilizations were able to get really rich. Now, unfortunately, it did create a class divide, that there were certain nations or people amongst the nations that weren't rich. As you can imagine, if there's a lot of gold to be mined, it doesn't all get perfectly distributed. You're going to have super rich people, and then all the people have to do all the mining and all the work. And so during the Age of Chaos, or right before the Age of Chaos, two big things happened in the realm of metal that we know of. First off, in the Spiral Crux, which is the region that we have the most information on. In fact, the majority of the stories through the rule books and through the novels are told in the Spiral Crux. So that's where we have all our information on what day-to-day life is like. We learn that two bad things happen. First off, there's this huge dragon. I think he's called the Lode Dragon, L-O-D-E. Let me just, a god beast descends. Yeah, the Lode Griffin, that's what it is. A zodiacal beast known as a Lode Griffin descends from the void. So another void creature comes in, and he is drawn in by the magics of this realm, and he kind of just plops himself down in the middle of the Spiral Crux. But he's got this magnetism to him, which is why he's drawn to the realm of metal. No pun intended. Like, it literally is, he's drawn towards that kind of magic and that kind of thing. And that huge amount of magnetism does two really bad things. One, it distorts the land. So when you see this picture of the Spiral Crux, you see that it's all circular, all in spirals. Whereas when Grungy made it, a lot of it was straight, and a lot of it was linked by these nice, huge, well-made bridges. And now those all got torn to pieces, and the land was kind of thrown into chaos, but not by chaos, but by the zodiacal beast. So that's how it started. And then to defeat the zodiacal beast, the Lode Griffin, to defeat the Lode Griffin, they actually worked together. They brought a great conclave of their mightiest ethermancers, and so 9 of them formed this big ritual, and they enacted it to turn the Lode Griffin into just pure gold. But the problem is, one of those guys was secretly a gaunt summoner of Tzeentch, and he threw off the whole ritual. It still got turned to gold, but the huge ripple effect of all that change actually tore open a hole in reality and allowed Tzeentch to invade. And Tzeentch has managed to have a really good foothold in the realm of metal, even after Sigmar returned to the Stormcast Eternals. And he loves it there. Of course, the other Chaos Gods have infiltrated as well. They all send it for their various reasons. But Tzeentch loves it the most because it's all about change. And in fact, as Tzeentch harvests the Realm Stone of the realm of metal, he's able to do more of his change magic, which is just obviously what he is all about. And so we have this whole this intricate balance between all these different civilizations there. On a day-to-day basis, it's hard to really know what life would be like. I think you could picture it just like normal life, except that there would be a lot more industry revolving around it. We even know that Grungy at one point made, what did he call them? They're basically automatons. He created these, what were they called? He had the World Hearth and the Perfectly Straight Godright Isles. Either way, he even created these cog people. It sounds like some sort of machine people, this automatons, although apparently there was some problems with them later that doesn't really go into details of. So there's a lot of industry, a lot of technology is how I picture the realm of metal. And while you'll always have these elements in every realm, each realm kind of has its thing that it focuses a lot on. So that I would think that you'd see a lot of mining, a lot of industry, a lot of alchemy. That would be a big thing here. So it's wizardry, but focusing specifically on alchemy, especially when you use the realm stone Chamonite. Apparently they mined it in a large amount, strip mining it, and a single drop of it was worth a full chest of gold, but it became their currency because they could use it to do transmutations that they never thought possible. So day-to-day life would focus a lot around those industries. I picture a lot of skyport towns, and I picture a lot of mining towns, and I picture a lot of the heraldry and the armor. A lot of the best weapons and armor comes from the realm of metal because they can transmutate all these different kinds of metals into their blades and make them lighter but still strong, sharper, and even infused with some magics as well. And so I picture that just lots and lots of industry would be kind of the theme of what you would see here, and lots of things being built with metal, whereas in the realm of life, a lot more things would be built with wood, and so on and so forth. So that is the realm of metal, which to me is a really cool realm. It's interesting to try to recreate on the tabletop because, you know, the terrain that we have is typically rocks or wood or stone buildings, whereas when we try to do battle reports in a realm of metal, you're thinking, well, how do we make we want buildings that are made out of more metal, and you want rocks that are just lined with all these veins of minerals, or things that are rusty and all of that. So it does provide a bit of a challenge for actually showing it on the tabletop. Of course, you can always just say, well, we're near the realm center and it just looks like any other place, but that's boring, of course. But the rules for playing in the realm of metal are really fun. So now that we've gone through the lore of that, go check out the battle report that was played at the realm of metal, and the link in the video description below or above, where it depends on where you're watching this. If you're not a Vault member, you can still click that link. You get a free trial, you get instant access to that battle report, and then find out if you actually want to be a Vault member, because it's a full free trial. You get full access to everything. The Vault members are what allow us to do this business. We have a great appreciation for our thousands and thousands and thousands of Vault members who are supporting our hobby here, this business that is really just one giant hobby, allowing us to make videos for you guys and to have guests come in to build studios, work on the new place that we're going to be opening up sometime in the future. All these things are mainly thanks, I'd say 85 to 90% thanks to our Vault members, the rest of it coming from some of our YouTube revenue. So if you want to support MiniWarGaming, if you want to see more videos like this, then vote with your credit card or your PayPal account and go and sign up for the Vault. It's not that expensive, and it'll allow you to support us in whatever way that you possibly can. And for all those current Vault members, thank you so much for all the support you've given us and allowing us to be able to do our dream job like this. So go check that out. Stay tuned for more Traveling Through the Realms. Next week, we are going to be visiting the mysterious realm of Ulgu, the realm of shadow. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, and happy wargaming.